custodial staff, and I think you're going to appreciate what God has put together. So, Robin Judkins is our custodian. Her son is her assistant. He's Tannen. Would you please, very carefully, just take the veils completely off. Might need some help with those in the background. Are we catching a glimpse of this? Are we seeing it from the front? Our AV man is going to follow me as I give you a brief description, but the full message to follow later. Let's give a hand to our custodians. Nice, clean work. Well done. This is a replica of the Gate Beautiful mentioned in Acts chapter 3, where the lame man was laid. This is a 1/60th scale model. So you have a tiny little human being in the gate, and that's the scale of this marvelous gate, the gate called Beautiful. David, tell me when you're looking all the way through this gate, through the gate separating the pavement of the men and the women into the holy area of sacrifice, all the way to a high priest holding up a left hand. Behind that, a rent veil. And now, let's go to the back of the replica. I'm abbreviating this because you're going to get a full message by Messianic Pastor Mark Robinson. I'm going to show you from the back a cutaway area. Once we have closed this ceremony, we invite all of you to come take a look. Don't touch, don't dribble, but please look closely. The man who designed all of this in the computer, Steve Miller, he was not able to be here today. He's out of state. We worked together for a number of months, making sure this met historic and biblical requirements. One of the special features Steve introduced here was a cutaway where from this angle, you can look into the area of the holy place, 2-to-1, as mentioned earlier, to the Holy of Holies. You will see an Ark of the Covenant here to show where it was placed. However, at the time of Jesus, that was vacant because he was the mercy seat to God. All things work together for good to them that love God. And you see in the middle a rent veil. Later, it'll be described by Pastor Mark Robinson why we know God rent that veil, and it cut between the two cherubim. That is enough for the moment, just a teaser. Let's give a hand of appreciation again to these who executed this. Dr. Ron Pugh is the biologist, an award-winning biologist for our biosphere, and his busiest days are ahead because we're just now getting it online. Ron has spent the last 6 or 8 months 3D printing a model of a site that we call a candidate. It has some very interesting features as the possible site of Migdal Edar, the Tower of the Flock. And there is a sign in the vicinity, Ephratah. So there's a well, a natural well in the area, dug, but a natural well in the area. It is the concentration of the largest number of shepherds' towers known in that part of the world. There are 8 or 10 actual shepherds' towers within sight in the landscape. There is a low area that is extremely fertile, and then there's the area that leads to this site, which is a Byzantine church site. There's no question about that. but there's some interesting things about it that make us take a second look. And Ron has visualized all of that. He has visualized a tower, much like that which was mentioned when Jacob was traveling through the land and he pitched his tent toward Migdal Eder, the tower of the flock. And then there are other features about it. There's a cave that has some dimensions. I mentioned the well not far away. There are other features that might represent Boaz's threshing floor, where he courted Ruth, or Ruth courted him. It worked out very well either way. And there are many very interesting features. Are you getting at least a graphic of it on camera? Tell me yes or no. I can't. All right, good, you're seeing this. You'll want to spend a lot of time once we conclude this service taking a look at this. We call it a candidate, and there's no question that it is a Byzantine church site, but there are very interesting features on which that church was built.